The Rolls Royce has finally showed up. I'm excited. Sometimes I need to check my brain though, because I'm about to unload a Rolls Royce with a forklift. Does it actually start and run? Let's find out. Oh, this is a beautiful car. Oh my gosh, I never got to see it sitting on the trailer. It is amazing to me what great shape this car is in. I mean, just look at this thing. The roof, usually, you know, the vinyl roofs will start peeling or cracking or fading. Look at this water line. You gotta like that. All the way down at the bottom of the door. I wonder if water even got inside of it. Oh, it even smells like an old Rolls. Let's get that jump pack and see what this thing does. You never know with Copart. Just because it's listed as a runner, you never know. Okay, we got a problem. The key is not in the ignition, and it's usually strapped to the column, and there's no key. All right, well, plan B, we're gonna have to get the locksmith out here and make a key. We found a specialist that if we can get the key cylinder out of the ignition, they think they'll be able to make us a key. So what I had to do is take the dash apart and get the ignition assembly out of the dash, which I've just finished doing. I've got it here. This is the ignition. Can you believe this thing? Got the ignition cylinder out of the dash. It was right here. Next thing is take this apart and get the key cylinder out of it. I don't remember ever having to do this on one of our cars, but we're gonna get Joe, take this thing apart and get the key cylinder out for us.
Here you go, Matt.
Oh, look at you. You the man. This is the ignition cylinder out of the Rolls Royce. 3 locksmiths later, Joe has gotten it out. We can now get this off to a locksmith to actually make a key for it. And hopefully then find out what we got, a lemon or a gold mine. All right, so the moment of truth has come. I don't know if it's weeks or months or years that we've been waiting for this. The key has been solved. We just got a new battery put in the car. We got the trunk open, got a new battery put in there. So he had to get the old battery out, put the terminals on, get the new battery mounted in there. We've got the key all put back together. Now we can put it in the dash and then actually turn it and see what happens. Oh, I don't know if I want to run around naked or if I want to just be scared and cross my fingers. It cranks. That starter's got to be good and hot by now. Well, that wasn't very eventful. Does it say add fuel? I don't know. Let's see if the fuel gauge is coming up. The gas light is on. Okay, so we're gonna put some gas in it, see if it'll fire up. Man, I'm really craving a cigarette. You wanna fire one up right now? Messed up my Rolls Royce, did you? Come on, guys. You need an expert over here. It's running. It's running. Oh, we just had to put the right guy in the driver's seat. It's definitely missing. That's not running good. We need to get it over to the gas station and get a full tank of fresh gas. We'll get Richard. He's gonna go fill it up for us. He'll put some more gas in it. Then we can get it over to the gas station, get a full tank of some 93 octane in there, and hopefully that'll clear it up and she'll be running. I don't know, let's find out.
I think shift linkage is off when they transported it. Try it up. Hot. Mark the shit out of the horn off pipe. Yeah, we did. I see. You take this? Yeah.
So the car's in the building. What did I miss? How did you get the car in here?
After burning my arm. Ow! I took the linkage apart.
Oh, you got 2.
Yeah. I took the linkage apart, manually put it in reverse. That way Joe could drive it and pull it inside.
I noticed when I walked around the back of it that there was a bunch of fluid on the ground. This is gas. This is gasoline. You got a light? No, well, I'm not lighting my car on fire. That looks like brake. It's too shiny.
It's not brake fluid either.
Mineral oil. These cars use mineral oil. They don't use brake fluid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jesus Pete. All right, so we've got a fuel leak for sure, and we've got probably a wheel cylinder that's gone bad. Anything else that you guys noticed?
Not yet. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna get it on the rack and go over it all and see what we got.
Why are we getting a lifter noise? Yeah, it's just low on oil. And there was hardly any oil on that.
It's full of fuel.
Yeah, it's getting fuel in the oil. Yeah, and it's all the way up to there.
So it's
And that's why the oil's so clear, because it's just solid gas. All right, we don't want to turn this engine on again until we can drain all that oil out of there. Find out what's going on, because the crankcase appears to be filling up with gasoline. So that's not good. So we got it on the rack over the weekend, and they did some work to it. Got all that gasoline drained out of the engine. How much was in there?
About 5 gallons.
5 gallons. Wow. So at any rate, we got all the gas out of it, got it filled with the right oil, but now we got to figure out how the gas is getting in the oil.
We got to look at the other injectors. That's the only other way fuel's going to get in there.
If we have an injector stuck open.
Right.
And just pouring fuel in. We also got it up in the air and discovered the electronic shift module on the back of the transmission had a bunch of water in it. So we're gonna get that taken off so that I can start searching around on eBay and hopefully find one of those. We've got a starting point. Sounds like a couple different things to figure out and hopefully get this thing at least to a point where we can get some parts ordered and take it from there. So the electronic shifter on this car ends up used on eBay. They're over $1,000. So we've got Danny here. What he's gonna do is take the electric motor off the back of the shifter assembly. So let's see what happens.
But yeah, Brandy's on.
I thought you bought them shoes for your ugly shoe contest. Now you're wearing them?
Well, leave it to the British to make a gear shifter this complicated. Yes, all of that just to move a gear shifter. So we found an outfit, Prestige Euro Cars, down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, that specializes in these old British luxury cars. They can rebuild this electronic gear shifter for us. He gave us a quote, said it'd be around $700. Fortunately, he can also do the brake caliper and the shock. Said the brake caliper would be around $500, the shock would be around $700. Looks like they're gonna pull us out of a jam again this time, so we're gonna get all the parts off, get them down to him. It's spinning.
Yeah, it's spinning all right.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's throwing up.
back here too.
Huh?
It threw up in the back of the car.
Real slick. I knew I shouldn't listen to you. You know how I was saying there's 2 rubber O-rings? There they are.
Yeah.
They go into that expansion tank.
so that is how it came out, but now we have a mess.
You were right.
So we've got everything boxed up and ready to go to Prestige Euro Cars. These guys have done a great job in the past. Usually they can turn stuff around in just 2 or 3 days. We've got our electronic shift assembly, we've got our right rear shock, and our left rear brake caliper. All ready to go. We got to get them off to the post office, let them do their magic. In the meantime, we're going to get a fuel pressure gauge on that fuel distributor, see why we're getting all that fuel down into the crankcase, and then we'll take it from there. So while we're waiting for our friends at Prestige Euro Cars to get our parts back, we decided to go ahead and look into the fuel leak that we were having and seeing if maybe that had to do with why we're getting all the fuel into our crankcase. So we had 3 or 4 fuel lines back here that were old and dry rotted. So we went ahead and replaced those and put new hose clamps on them. And in the process, we found this tiny little one-way fuel valve up in here that was stuck closed. And that was sending all the fuel pressure back up to the fuel distributor, possibly overloading it and getting the fuel into the oil. We took that valve out, we cleaned it up, we got it operating right so it's not stuck closed anymore and it's just allowing the fuel to get through. Next, we just gotta button everything up, get the car back on the ground, and then tomorrow morning, we'll try to fire it up and see if it solved our problem. So what we wanna do is document where the oil level is now. Then we can run it for a minute, turn it off and check it again. So we've changed the oil and got all the gasoline out of it. So this is a fresh oil change.
And right now we're a little over full, right there on the M on max. So we'll put that back down in there, fire it up, and see what we got.
I'm thinking let it run about a minute. It sure seems to be running smoother than it was before, which is a good indication. We should probably look underneath the car, make sure none of those fuel lines that Danny put on are leaking. Look at that, Danny. It's actually dry.
The $1 million question. Are we overfilled? All right.
A couple of mechanics.
Oh my gosh, you're not gonna believe this. It's actually gone down. Well, it had been sitting here for a week without being run, so it would make sense that
everything drained.
yeah, it had to fill back up to all the lifters and everything.
There ain't no oil on the floor.
Yeah.
I think
Well, that's really encouraging. So it looks like replacing those lines and getting that one-way valve working properly fixed our problem. We just got our packages with our goodies from our friends here at Prestige Euro Cars down in Fort Lauderdale. They really hooked us up this time. We had some pretty bad parts. It was a little on the pricey side, but not bad. All considered, 1,800 bucks. We got everything we need. They had to completely rebuild this thing, put all new electronics in it. We got that for $795. The left rear brake caliper was leaking out of one of the seals, so they've put all new seals on the 4 pistons, rehoned the cylinders, put us some rings on it. That was $495. And then the right rear shock. This was the real troublemaker for us. $495 to get it rebuilt. But what was happening is this fitting right here is supposed to be a British standard thread where it goes down into the cylinder. Someone had already replaced it with a metric thread. And the guys down at Prestige, they're very thorough. They recognized that. They were worried about it potentially leaking. So they had to replace it with the right one, tap the cylinder out, get that proper. So we should be good to go. Next, we need to get Danny over here, get this thing up in the air, and put it back together. We brought her back to life. We ended up having the positive and negative wires backwards on the gear shifter box. Thanks to the guys at Prestige, they totally hooked us up. That thing is working great. We got them switched around. Now everything's working good. She starts up, it goes into reverse, it goes into drive. Then the brake problem. We had the left rear caliper off of this car, which had completely exposed the brake system. So it's full of air, and what a complicated system. This is a very precise system. We had to print off an 86-page manual just to figure out how to bleed the brakes on this thing. It has a dual hydraulic brake system with dual chambers, dual hydraulic pumps, and dual accumulators in the trunk. It takes this special LHM mineral oil, which we got some off of eBay for $20 a quart. We were able to get 3 more quarts off of eBay. You've got to have this special attachment here on the top to put it into the filler cap. You put it in there, twist it. That's what even allows you to put fluid in the first place. The system is really precise. What you had to do was first remove the fuse that powers the hydraulic brake system, which is fuse number 46 up underneath the glove box. Once we did that, then we put a individual drain tube on all 4 of the calipers and let them just gravity drain for a little bit to try to get any air out of the system that we could. Once we had all the brakes bled out, we weren't getting any more air, then you go to the shock system, which has 2 accumulators back here in the trunk. Right here, there's an accumulator on the top of each shock. It's basically just a reservoir or a tank that's holding more mineral oil. So there's a bleeder valve on each one of those. Once we got all of those worked out, we weren't getting any more air out of those. We were all done. And guess what? We have brakes. I mean, we have brakes. There's no fluid coming out all over the floor. This is an exciting day. I have a gear shifter that goes in and out of drive and reverse. I have brakes that feel good and solid. So I'm gonna take this bad boy on her maiden voyage. Hopefully, I'm able to make it out of the parking lot, go up and down the street. Who knows? Let's see. It seems like a good car. I think we've got a good one here. Let's see what we got. I don't know that I'm ever coming back. Hot date tonight, baby. Wow, we are finally ready to send this car off to detail. What a crazy 6 months this has been, but we finally were able to figure out that ignition system with the key and then got that brake caliper and the shock and the gear shifter assembly. So it's all back together and I got to drive it all weekend, and what a pleasure that was. I drove it home Friday. My wife and I took it out to the finest steak joint here in Cincinnati over the weekend, to Carlo and Johnny's. How cool that was.
fun experience for both of us. We got to drive around in a nice luxury saloon all weekend, but it's headed off to detail. One final touch here. Let's just give it a little white cloth treatment. Now she's good. All we need is a bottle of Grey Poupon. We got the Silver Sedustress back from detail, and they got her shined up and looking like the true moving VIP section that this car is. And talking about that, I do have a short that we just finished filming on this car that is great. If you get a chance, go over to our shorts and take a look at it. I'm sure you'll like it. In the meantime, let's go look at the numbers. So we've got our 1986 Rolls Royce Silver Spur. Over the last 5 or 6 months, I have learned more about old British luxury than I think anybody needs to know, but we've got her all wrapped up and ready to go. Now, it's time to take a look at the numbers. We only had $4,199 into the car. And by the time I got it shipped up here from Texas, from the Lone Star State, was $600. The labor wasn't too bad. We did have a lot of time that Danny spent on the suspension and the brakes and that gear shifter module and figuring out the fuel and oil issue. So we had $1,600 in labor. The parts, total on the parts was $2,280, and that's entirely because we had parts repaired, we had them rebuilt, we bought used parts. From the dealer, we could have spent over 10 grand on the same stuff. Detail was $200, so the total into the car was $9,108. And for those of you that watch this channel on a regular basis, you know this is not a car that we would typically do, but we have a local collector that has bought over 10 cars from us over the last 18 years. And he came to me, he said, Matt, I found this car on Copart. I want you to buy this car and rebuild it for me. I agreed to do that for him for our contribution margin of $4,000. So the sale price on this car, $13,108, which is a steal. This guy did really, really well because this car actually has a market value of $25,298, which means he is in this car for a mind-blowing, staggering 52% of market. That is a grand slam. He took all the risk on this one, and he certainly paid off in the end. That's another one over the curb. Thanks for watching to the end. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm Matt Ryan, and this was another episode of Northern Kentucky Auto.